It's guys that, you know, might have a black girlfriend or two that made them some Kool-Aid every now and then, and they think they can cross the line, and they can't. You know, it's a word that has been used against us. It's like a knife, man.
Got a name, a phrase for guys like you. It's called.
While everybody online was out here shedding fake tears over Hulk Hogan, Ice Cube came swinging with the cold, raw truth. He didn't sugarcoat nothing. Cube called it like it is. This man hated black people in WCW. Period. And he wasn't just talking about that one time Hulk slipped up and dropped the N-word a decade ago. Nah, this mess runs deep. We're talking way back to the 80s and 90s when Hulk was already moving foul. He wasn't just playing a wrestling character. He was building his whole image on coded racism. All that all-American hero stuff, it was just a cover-up for pushing stereotypes, always going after foreign villains like Iron Sheik and Kamala, like it was some patriotic mission. Yeah, we see you now.
Put on in WCW, we take what we want, and after we take Lex Luger and the job, we want the goals. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
WWE tried to clean it up back then. They yanked Hulk out the Hall of Fame, deleted his face off everything like they had some moral compass. But surprise, surprise, a couple years later, they brought him right back like nothing ever happened. Suddenly, he's got a redemption arc. Man, Cube wasn't buying that mess for a second. He saw it clear. It wasn't healing, it was rebranding. Just a fresh coat of paint over the same rotten core. And let's not even pretend that was the worst of it. Hulk wasn't just making sketchy comments. He was out here kicking it with actual KKK members, real white supremacists, promoting his beard next to a man who openly wore hate on his chest. That ain't no accident. That's not confusion. That's a whole lifestyle choice. So don't come for Ice Cube like he was being too harsh. He just refused to play along with this fake nostalgia. Hulk ain't no national treasure. And Cube, he made sure the world heard it. Ice Cube didn't just speak on Hulk. He straight up accused WWE of pulling one of the biggest racial cover-ups the entertainment world has ever seen. This wasn't some light shade. Cube came for the whole machine.
Been used as a weapon against us by white people. And we're not gonna let that happen again by nobody.
Just hours after the news of Hulk Hogan's death hit the internet, while the timeline was flooded with fake love and emotional tributes, Ice Cube kept it real. No RIP legend. No sugar-coated posts. Instead, Cube dropped a bomb. Funny how y'all remember the leg drops and catchphrases but forget the racism. Boom. That post exploded and the internet felt it. See, this ain't just anybody posting. Ice Cube is hip-hop royalty, a certified OG who's watched this industry flip racism into cash for decades. So when he speaks, it means something. He's not clout chasing. He's calling out the game. Meanwhile, you got people like Steve Harvey jumping in to defend Hulk like he was some misunderstood old man. Really?
Do I forgive him? Yeah. Do I think his career should be ruined because of it? No, I don't. Because if we're ruining people's career for that word right there, ain't none of us gonna be worth it.
Cube saw right through that mess, and so did a lot of other people. Folks are done pretending. They're tired of being told to mourn people who never respected them in the first place. Cube ain't stopping with one post either. He's demanding receipts, calling out WWE as a brand that didn't just overlook racism. They packaged it, profited from it, and now they want to rewrite history like it never happened. He's warning folks loud and clear, don't fall for the fake redemption arc they're selling. And get this, Cube ain't alone. His son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., is backing him up, adding even more pressure to the fire. This ain't just a post, it's a movement coming straight for the truth. O'Shea Jackson Jr. made his position loud and clear way back in 2015, long before the world started pretending to forget. When that N-word scandal hit the internet like a bomb, he booed Hulk Hogan live during WWE Raw, right in front of everybody. No fear, no filter. And when somebody asked why he didn't just stay neutral, he hit back with the truth. It's racism. Point blank. No soft answers, no fake apologies, just facts.
Hulk Hogan got booed out the building.
I was one of them. I'll show you the video.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Me, Eric Andre, and Wale was giving it to him.
I love it.
Why though? hating.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
no,
race-
like the
the
racism, bro.
Yeah.
Just it's hard to forget how detailed that rant was. You know, I get a lot of people online who are like, oh, well, you know, he would be mad if he found out about that whole generation. Yeah, well, when I find out, I'll be mad.
So when the news broke last week that Hulk Hogan passed away at 71, what did O'Shea post? No tribute, no flowers, just 3 words on X, holy S-E. That's it. And just like clockwork, Hulk's diehard fans jumped out the shadows demanding he apologize. Apologize for calling out racism? Come on now, be serious. Let's not get it twisted. This wasn't some little slip-up Hogan made back in the day and learned from. This man didn't just say the N-word once in anger. He went on a full rant, repeating it multiple times while complaining about his daughter dating a black man. That's not a slip. That's a full-on belief system. That's not embarrassment. It's who he really was. And the worst part, that wasn't even a one-time thing. Hulk's racism showed up everywhere, on camera, backstage, in interviews, and even in how he carried himself for years. He wasn't hiding it. He was living in it. This wasn't some random outburst. It was a nasty, consistent pattern of disrespect, ignorance, and hate. But every time the topic comes up, folks try to rewrite the story, like the timeline don't exist, like the facts disappeared. So let's be clear. This ain't about canceling someone. It's about remembering exactly what went down. Way back in the mid-1980s, Hulk Hogan was already exposing himself, and not in the wrestling ring. He used straight-up racist gimmicks to clown Kamala, the black wrestler known as the Ugandan Giant. Hulk painted his face, mocked Kamala's accent, and even talked about natives cooking people in a mumbo-jumbo pot. That wasn't some harmless skit. That was blatant disrespect in full color. Then in the early 90s, it got worse. They threw Hulk into a storyline with Sergeant Slaughter, who they turned into an Iraqi sympathizer. And of course, Hulk was hyped as the all-American superhero, fighting for freedom and justice. But let's not act like we didn't see through that. The whole setup was pushing the same tired message. Hulk, the white savior, protecting America from the foreign threat. Sure, on the surface, it looked like just wrestling storylines. But underneath, it was dripping with coded racism and cheap stereotypes. Yeah, folks try to excuse it now, say it was just the era or just part of the show. But let's be real. Was it offensive? Hell yes. Was it racist? No question. And Hulk wasn't alone. The whole WWF system was built on those ugly gimmicks, cashing in on shock value and stereotypes. But here's where things hit different, because what showed up in that leaked tape from 2015, that wasn't no scripted act. That wasn't Hulk in character. That was Terry Bollea behind closed doors, unmasked. No costume, no lights, no crowd, just him caught on camera, dropping the N-word again and again, straight up saying he didn't want his daughter dating a black man. That rant, recorded sometime in 2006 or 2007, wasn't just disgusting. It was the real him. No excuses, no rewriting history. That wasn't wrestling, that was who he really was. One of the wildest lines from that leaked rant, Hulk said something like, "I don't want my daughter to be with no N-words, unless he's a rich, 8-foot-tall N-word."
Have any personal preference who ethnically your daughter dates?
No, I don't. Actually, the guy my daughter was dating, I liked him a lot. I'd known him for quite a while. And I was very mad at a personal situation that happened with my daughter.
Are you a racist?
No, I'm not. I'm not a racist. I never should have said what I said. It was wrong. I'm embarrassed by it. But a lot of people need to realize that you inherit things from your environment.
Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, he just shrugged and added, "I'm a little bit racist, like it was normal. That ain't entertainment. That's not some out-of-character moment. That's exactly who he was, for real." In that recording, Hulk didn't accidentally say something offensive. Nah, he was throwing the N-word around like it was regular vocabulary. There was no anger, no emotion, just casual, ugly hate mixed in with nasty stereotypes about black people. You could hear it. This wasn't some one-time slip. This was how he talked when he thought nobody was listening. No filters, no shame, And once that tape hit the public,
Everything that I've been through, this one hit me probably the hardest. And that's a heck of a thing to say. So I've been through a lot of crazy stuff. I was at the lowest point of my life. My personal life was destroyed. I was very mad at my daughter. I was upset over a situation that happened between her and her boyfriend. And I had no idea I was being taped. I was to the point where I wanted to kill myself. I sat in my bathroom by myself when my ex-wife was gone.
WWE moved quick. They asked him, cut the contract, wiped his face clean off their Hall of Fame page like he'd never existed. But they didn't do it because they cared about racism. They did it because they got caught. And Hulk, he popped up later on national TV with a weak apology trying to save face. He called it the lowest point of his life, blaming it all on growing up around racism. Like that made it okay. But here's the real problem, his so-called apology. It wasn't about what he did. It was all about what he lost. He talked about his pain, his career, his downfall.
Fair to say that you inherited a racial bias.
I would say that is very fair, but you can break the cycle. And that's what everybody needs to know. You can break this cycle and become a better person, become who you're meant to be instead of who you're supposed to be.
Not once did it sound like he actually cared about the people he hurt. It wasn't real accountability. It was damage control. He even admitted he didn't know he was being recorded, which just proves it. He wasn't sorry for saying it. He was just sorry the world heard it. And honestly, that tells you everything you need to know. That leaked tape, that's who Hulk Hogan really was when the cameras weren't rolling. No crowd, no script, no spotlight. Just pure, unfiltered prejudice. No character to hide behind. Just the truth slipping out when he thought nobody was listening. Let's stop pretending like an apology can erase what was said. Hulk didn't slip up. He flat out admitted to being racist, straight from his own mouth. That tape wasn't taken out of context. It was him, plain and simple, spewing hate in private like it was just casual talk. That moment sealed his legacy. From that point on, Hulk Hogan's name wasn't just tied to wrestling, it was tied to racism. And no amount of nostalgia can cover that up. You can't blame that on a wrestling role, or the 80s, or bad influences. That was him, raw and real, telling the world exactly how he felt. And when he finally sat down for that so-called apology interview, what did he do? He tried to flip the script, talking about how he grew up with racial bias, and now he's supposedly trying to break the cycle. Sounds good in theory, but nobody was buying it. Because here's the real truth. He never actually did the work. There was no accountability, no effort to learn, no action at all, just words. He wasn't out here doing anything to push back against racism. Not in public, not behind the scenes, not even in the smallest way. So no, he didn't break the cycle. He stayed in it. He just hoped people would forget. Instead of changing, Hulk just kept showing his true colors. Back in 2008, when his son Nick Hogan was locked up after a brutal DUI crash that left his friend permanently injured, Hulk was visiting him in jail like clockwork. But those father-son convos, they were recorded. And when the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office released those tapes, it was another bombshell. Hulk was right back at it, casually dropping the N-word like it was part of his everyday talk while describing Nick's friends. But it didn't stop there. He took it even lower. He started throwing out racial slurs and mocking black people with dehumanizing phrases. One of the ugliest, he used the made-up term Blizz Act Gizzy like it was a joke, but nothing about it was funny. According to transcripts from Radar Online, in one of those calls, Hulk told Nick, "You know that God gave you this vibe and this energy that you and I are gonna live forever, bro. I just hope we don't come back as a couple. I don't wanna say it, Blizz Act Gizzy. You know what I'm saying?" Yeah, he really said that. And right there, that call proved it wasn't just a one-time meltdown or a moment of ignorance. This was how he spoke, how he thought, off camera. No pressure, no audience, just raw, unchecked racism flowing like it was nothing. That tape was disturbing. No spin, no PR filter, just Hulk being Hulk. And yet, even after all that, WWE still brought him back, quietly. No public accountability, just a silent return to the Hall of Fame in 2018 like the past never happened. That move said everything. WWE wasn't focused on change. They were focused on protection, protecting their brand, not the truth, not justice. Just business as usual, even if it meant ignoring straight-up hate. WWE dropped a statement trying to save face, saying Hulk Hogan deserved a second chance, because of his public apologies and some volunteer work with young people, talking like he was really out here helping them learn from his mistake. And just like that, they hit us with the same tired storyline, the corporate cleanup, like decades of casual racism could be brushed off as a single slip-up. But let's be real honest, Hulk's track record don't lie. He talked a lot about breaking the cycle, but the only thing he ever broke was people's trust. Fast forward to November 2024, less than a year before he passed, and boom, the mask dropped again. The truth didn't whisper this time. It slapped the world in the face. At a promo event for his Real American beer, Hulk showed up smiling in a full-on pose photo right next to a guy wearing a red hat that said, "Make America White Again," and rocking the number 88 on his shirt. Anyone who knows that's neo-Nazi code. And if that wasn't loud enough, the guy also flashed the white power hand sign, boldly. Now, this wasn't some random background moment or blurry shot from a crowd. This was a clear front and center photo. Hulk was right next to him, grinning for the camera like it was just another day. And when the internet exploded, calling him out, Hulk said nothing. No apology, no clarification, no, "I didn't know," nothing. And this wasn't the 80s. This wasn't before the tapes. This wasn't before the fallout. This was after the scandal, after the so-called growth, after all those second chances. So what did that tell us? Simple. This wasn't redemption. It was PR spin. And Hulk, he was never trying to change. He was just hoping we'd stop looking. Yet there he was, shoulder to shoulder with a man repping hate symbols in broad daylight, acting like it was just another promo run. And that right there is why Ice Cube ain't letting this slide. He's not out here trying to cancel anybody. He's trying to wake people up, because at a certain point, this ain't about one mistake anymore. It's about a pattern that never stopped. And with Hulk Hogan, that pattern is loud, ugly, and consistent. The racism wasn't a phase. It wasn't something he outgrew. It was a part of him, from the start to the end. And if anybody thought this whole saga got buried with his death, think again. It's only getting hotter behind the scenes. Whispers are flying out of WWE now. Retired wrestlers and former staff saying they were directly warned not to speak out during the original scandal, told to stay quiet or risk their jobs. That ain't just PR cleanup. That's straight intimidation, and the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Some insiders are now claiming that WWE knew about even worse comments Hulk made, stuff that never saw the light of day. But instead of holding him accountable, they allegedly made a backroom deal. Keep your mouth shut and we'll slide you back into the company. A full image rehab while hiding the real dirt. And get this, it nearly turned into a money play. One WWE exec allegedly pitched a whole docuseries built around Hulk's redemption. They were gonna flip the scandal into content, but the legal team shut it down fast. Why? Because if they kept digging, they were scared the floodgates would explode. Hulk's skeletons weren't just in the closet. They were locked in the basement with chains. So when Ice Cube calls it a cover-up, don't think he's being dramatic. He might be sitting on some real receipts. Now the real question is, who else knew? Who helped sweep it under the rug? And just how far did WWE go to protect one man's brand while burying the truth? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear the real story. We'll catch you in the next one because trust, this story's far from over.